Bloody hell.
God. Sorry, I'm eating
Bloody
cold
hell.
roast potatoes and digestive biscuits and a cup of tea.
So am I.
It's such an eating day today.
Why is it so bright?
Listen, guys.
Jesus Christ. This is urgent.
Your mum, my dad.
What about
Yet
her?
again.
Every time you say it, I think you're talking about my mum.
Yet again. Every time I think that's my favourite episode, the next episode comes. To tell you the truth, we were so knackered today. We've got so much on. And I'm decorating. Worst job in the world.
You don't half like to bang on about it, don't you?
And
I've got dysentery.
And so we weren't going to do a live tonight, but after part 2 or 3, we both looked at each other and went, there's no way we can't do a live because we knew you'd all be wanting to talk about it. Oh my God.
Can I just pause for a minute, just before you go off on one? I just want to
That's
say...
very nice.
No, yeah,
You
just...
go
I need,
off
no,
on
hang
one.
on a minute. No, I don't.
Bum
Not in the way
bums.
that you do. Fucking hell.
Bum
We have to hear again that you've got a little bit of paint on your fucking dungarees.
You've already sworn.
I don't care. We're going to swear like mad tonight.
don't.
We're coming off the fence in a big way. My problem with dating shows is always about the penultimate episode or the last 2 or 3 episodes. Everyone kind of feels they know where it's going and you know what you're going to get. And the format, however light, and this the thing I think I love about this is that it's a very light formatted show. The format, you feel you know where it's taking you to and it all plays safe. This is the first time I can think of a series where it's got more exciting in the last 2 hours.
We never watch the last week of Love Island, do we? Because we know
Forget it.
it's all just going to be...
What a load of
everyone's just
nonsense.
being really nice. There's going to be loads of really
Yeah.
heavy, sentimental music.
Yeah. Smooching. Lots of
With the
smooching.
task, now there was loads, content rich today. There's loads to talk about, but when they were given the task, when Davina came in and said, okay, you've got to crystallise down to one word,
What did you think when
something
they
that
said-
you
when they
can
said that?
say, that you can say to your parents. And we both went,
No, I didn't.
what? All right, well, I went, what? And I thought, I don't really know how that's going to work. Anyway, it was brilliant.
I actually thought this is the stupidest, shittest idea I've ever thought of. Not because it was a stupid or shit idea.
Heard of.
Because I thought it's not going to work.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And that's not about the programme. That was about the
The
task.
But-
I've never known a task work better.
But rather like the marriage guidance counselling task that we've been given in the past, that we've thought, oh, what a load of old bollocks, and then it works. That was one of them. And again, for all the naysayers about having young people, young adults and their parents in a dating show.
I want to punch them.
No, don't have to go too far.
I'm sorry. It makes me cross.
Shush. You cannot naysay, because the way those children knew their parents was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And I was really, truly moved. We were crying, weren't we, over the manifest, the Martin one. Oh my God.
Hang on, the
Just beautiful.
greatest line delivered in a reality show. You're in the middle of a gunfight and it's a gunfight all of your making. I mean, that's straight out of a Ridley Scott movie.
You jumped out of the task conversation, Mark.
That was the task.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, no,
That
it
was a
wasn't.
separate conversation. Let's just stay with the task.
Sorry, I'd got to the duel. I wanted a duel at dawn.
No, it's just because you wanted to say
Pistols
that
at dawn.
line and you were scared I might say it first, so you got it in.
You
and
are
went
the
away
most
and went,
fucking annoying woman I have ever... And if you were
I
in
know,
that
but
house
you
now,
love me.
I would have ditched you and I would have run off with the lovely
swearing
lady
too
that
much.
Paul is
You're
with,
swearing.
who I can't remember her name,
You're
but she's
swearing.
manifested
You're
things.
swearing too much. Stop. So let's stay with the task. Because actually I was really disappointed not to see Elliot and Paul's
Yeah, that was
stones.
frustrating, wasn't it?
Because every person... I mean, obviously these decisions are always having to be made with edits and stuff, but I really wanted to hear everybody's stone. Because I was surprised. What about Monique when she read her stone?
What was her stone? I can't remember. What was it? Instinct?
Well, yes, but it was so frustrating because the
Hang on.
daughter...
Hang on, can I just... please, I did not understand what Monique was going on about. At all.
She was saying, she took the word instinct to mean that everything she was doing was right. But her daughter had said the word instinct to try and remind her, what is your instinct telling you? But because she's in that place now that obviously she always gets to, and she chooses the wrong man, of just cutting out all the noise and just doing exactly what she wants.
I think. Is it Tallulah? It's Tallulah, isn't it? I think. Is it Tallulah? Is that her name? Yes.
Well, we're talking about...
No. But are the two women,
Yeah,
Tallulah and Monique,
yeah.
who are... I can't understand at all, because they are both beautiful, intelligent, smart women. I don't understand why they're... I know they're not literally, but within the show, they are essentially fighting over this man.
I'm sorry, yesterday I was very, very generous. I was saying...
No, we were.
I think he's just really scared and he doesn't know... Because also I was being mindful of his son and everything.
Of course.
But actually, no. I'm sorry. He has played a bloody game. And I tell you what, and you know what? When Martin 1 came back and said that he had kissed Tallulah, I saw his face. So then he made out that there was never a sexual... Oh, sorry. So then he made out there was... Sorry, Don. Then he made out there was never a sexual connection between him and Tallulah. Baloney. We saw it. He punished her.
He was punishing her.
He punished her because she kissed Martin 1.
I didn't even realise that. But what was his line? And that's why his line was so harsh.
Yeah.
You're not going to like it, love.
I'm not asking you to like it. I'm just asking you to accept it.
Look, Martin, who owns Ibiza and all the Balearic Islands, look, you're a man. You've got a lot going for you. I don't understand. He both seems to want... Here's the thing that I'm confused about with Martin. On the one hand, he seems really bravura and show-offy, and he wants to win the game, and he wants all the choices. And then it seems like that once he's with the person in question, he doesn't want the person. Going back to Elliot's other brilliant quote, which was about the buffet.
We loved Elliot. I mean, we like Elliot anyway, but we
Elliot
really loved him
lifted the
tonight.
Script of this to almost Scorsese. It was Scorsese-esque.
No, but what Elliot demonstrated today, which is what we talk a lot about on this channel, whether it's our podcast or whether it's Coffee Moaning, when the topics come up about toxic masculinity and what part can men play in making things better for women, he held him accountable. He said, well, feel like you're in a gunfight. Well, it's a gunfight of your own making.
So she wanted to say it herself.
And when he said,
I said it better.
It's a bit like a buffet when you keep going up to, you can't decide what dish to have, and you keep going up and going back and going up and going back.
He didn't say that.
You come back and there's nothing left.
No, he said there's a nice dish and there's a pretty ordinary dish, and you go back for the nice dish and the nice dish is gone. That's what he said. Now, you see the way she has to get there. She has to manoeuvre her way there. Anyway, it's literally raining cats and dogs here.
Cats and dogs.
Okay, well, let's talk about Martin 2.
Oh, hang on, we should tell them what's happening tomorrow.
Well, we will in a minute.
Not too late, not till the end.
Well, by the way, subscribe. Do the thing.
Subscribe and hit the notification
you do it like that. Who the fuck is going to want to subscribe to that?
Not really.
No, you know what? It's a little bit much. I've had enough. Have another potato.
He's totally showing off tonight. You're swearing to show off.
Oh my God.
And it's pissing me off. So stop it.
These potatoes
Stop
are
it.
fantastic.
No.
Yeah, you're right. What were you saying?
Yes, there are some people on it on Lorraine tomorrow, and also we have a dad and a son coming on here tomorrow. How cool is that? Are you excited?
Yes,
They're going to come
Martin.
on. We're going to do a StreamYard. We're going to have a good old chinwag with them. We're going to have a gossip, but we're going to do it before the show tomorrow night. Cool? Excited? So don't forget to join us at about 8:40 tomorrow.
But before that wondrously exciting thing, and let's just keep our fingers crossed it's not Martin who owns Ibiza. It could be, on a bit of a damp
I wouldn't say that yet.
wicket. On a bit of, let's talk about Martin too. Let's talk about lovely basketball Martin. What a gracious, what a sort of incredibly sort of wholesome, respectful, meaningful man he is. Are we looking at here though, the problem being that she loves him, she thinks he's lovely, but she just literally doesn't fancy him. Are we looking at a fanciability situation? How could you read Tallulah's Because I thought she was going to say she was with him.
She finds him attractive.
Right.
I think she does. But when she says he's aligned to me, what does she actually mean when she says Martin 2 is aligned to me? Does she mean sexual energy? Does she mean financially? Does she mean in ambition? You know, I think she is an entrepreneur. Is it about... But that's a mistake. We're seeing that in Ultimatum at the moment, the new series. When you put two like very focused, I think, entrepreneurial types together, it can be great, but it can be bloody terrible as well. If you've got two alphas, he's an alpha, she's an alpha.
Yeah, but
Rarely
clearly
works.
we haven't quite seen the extent to which he's been quite touchy-feely.
We've seen it.
We've seen it, but not a lot. I mean, I didn't get a sense of how much it was. That she would sit there with her mouth wide open and her eyes wide open going, oh my God,
Well, the cat o' nine tails went wrong, and so maybe that scared him a bit, because before that he was all over her like a rash.
I think she'd like a bit of cat o' nine tails.
And I cannot believe she's going to have to come out to the fact that her daughter used the D word.
Whoa.
It was so funny, wasn't it? 'Cause she went, I'm just really disappointed. She wasn't being facetious with the word or anything.
No. But the great thing about the show is that Monique's daughter, I don't think, is going to give the rubber stamp of approval.
She said, I will not give my blessing.
And apparently, by the end of the show, all the kids have to give their approval, right? And I mean, I don't know whether the parent... Yeah, that's the deal. That's the formatting
Otherwise, they can't be with them.
Pardon?
Can they not be with them?
Well, I mean, how can you, as a parent, be with someone if your child has firmly said no? It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. But yet, Martin, I really felt for Martin. I thought he dealt with it with great dignity. He had real panache. I thought he became infinitely more attractive and desirable. I mean, not to me on a sort of sexual level, but on a sort of personal level. Like, I was sobbing when he talked about him feeling deserving and him having 4 children, and I have 4 children, and I just really, I thought, here's a what if moment, you know? He's obviously come out of a very, like, if we, separate it in 5 years, I thought, my God, I can relate to this guy so much. I really felt for him, and interestingly, I got worried at the point that he got upset, because there's this weird thing, guys, that if sometimes men show vulnerability, the very women who say they want to see men vulnerable suddenly go off them. And I find that a most frustrating dynamic.
There was one line that he should have left out.
Which was
because of the sort of alpha female that Tallulah is. He shouldn't have said, I'm always the boy that never got the girl. That's the one. It's like, listen, I counsel everyone. I counsel everyone in this. Our daughters, any friends, I always say, until you are established with somebody, don't talk about how much you've been let down, how much you've been rejected. Just don't do it. Because that is for when you know someone a lot better. Then you are vulnerable in that way. But it can really make somebody think, oh, what was wrong with you?
Yeah, but
Why did everybody leave
you? I
you?
totally disagree. You just said he shouldn't have.
I'm saying, looking at Tallulah and her being an alpha female,
absolutely,
I think that
absolutely. But he's got to be true to him. And I saw in his sadness and his upset, he was true to him.
Strong.
And actually, the way he dealt with her essential rejection on the bench, he stayed actually in the truth. What you saw there was a man who'd actually taken rejection.
Yes,
He'd taken the journey, and he wasn't going to compromise what his truth or his true feelings were, and how he felt about himself, or how he would describe himself.
Yeah, you're right.
Boom, it's out there, and I think he's going to move on. And I hope to God he meets someone really nice.
But what I would say to that is that sometimes we can't expect a person to accept everything about us on a first date.
Of course you can't.
Right? So, there could be something that could really blossom between them. Yeah. And that down the line, she'd be only too happy to hear that. But I'm just talking about personality types. And I feel with her A-type personality type, right at the beginning, she's looking for a winner, right? She would understand through time that a winner has caused her all the pain and anguish that she's had before.
What's a winner?
And would do again with... Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
what is a bloody winner?
I'm chiming in.
What is a winner? A winner is...
I'm with you. I'm with you. Lee Dorrance puts it incredibly simply. This is the problem when men cry. They think people will think they are weak, so more men don't cry. It's a huge problem. It's a huge problem.
I don't think it's about weakness, Lee, but I think often, and especially at this age, right? I'm going to be straight here.
He's not saying they are. He's saying people think they are.
No, I'm saying I don't think they are when they
No, we
cry.
know you don't.
But I will say this. I'll be honest. more of when you're at this age, if somebody cries too soon and you are overwhelmed with life and you've had a lifetime of looking after people and bringing up your kids and maybe failed relationships before when somebody was very dependent or needy on you, that will fuck things up right at the beginning. I'm not saying down the line, but I'm saying at the beginning. You know, if on date 2 I suddenly cried to you and said, oh God, you know, every man's always left me and da-da-da, that wouldn't be you thinking I'm weak, but that would you being protective. Before your feelings are really in there, you'd be going, oh, can I really, you know, I've had 2 kids, I've got a mum who's quite dependent on me, can I? So I don't think it's just a male thing. I think women hold on more to being tearful and being needy in the first couple of dates. And I think the reason they do that is because they know that can tip somebody away from them that actually could be very nice, but just might be overwhelmed with it.
Well, I think it's really, and in fact, actually, whilst we're talking about men and men crying, I think it's an absolute fallacy, this idea that women aren't spending the vast majority of their time being robustly strong and not feeling like they can cry too. I think there's this strange idea that only men can own this idea of not being able to cry.
Well, Natasha Milchin, I'm a woman, and every time I've cried, men have hated it. I'm going to be honest.
I agree.
I'm going to be honest too. I have the same experience. I very, very rarely have cried in my life with any men I've been with. And if I'm really honest, Mark included, I feel that men pull away. It's like we have to actually be stronger, I think, these days. I think it's harder to cry.
Sorry.
I think it's hard.
You think we should be
People
stronger?
Imagine that men aren't allowed to cry
hang on.
and women are.
That sounded really confusing. It sounds like you're saying people need to be stronger. They shouldn't cry.
That's how women feel. They feel like by crying, a lot of men get completely turned off by women crying. In the same way that men do.
Sorry, just clarifying.
In the way that men do. And I'm really pleased Natasha Milchin said that, because too often we are lashing ourselves as women as, do we let men cry enough? But if we're really, really honest, when we've cried with a man, how often have we been really enveloped, really looked after, really felt that it was like, you know, something that they wanted to share with you?
Okay, well, on that, just as a kind
People
of
get
two-way.
frightened of tears, I think.
Yeah, but I think women possibly cry more readily or willingly amongst friends, you know, women amongst women. Men amongst men don't at all.
Yeah, so they do have an outlet.
And so actually, a lot of men cry around women. I mean, I've always much preferred female company, not because it's in any way soppy. It's sometimes the most abrasive, harshest, most sort of humiliating company you could ever hope to be in. But it's electric and it's exciting, but also there's a capacity to quite quickly get to emotional truth. Not always, but, you know, than you can with men. My best male relationships have been those where you can get to emotional truth quickly, or, you know, without needing alcohol or drink. And to be honest with you, actually, that is one of the reasons and one of the, I'm not going to say a positive because that's that would be euphoric recall, but one of the things I miss or I used alcohol for was it fast tracks a lot of men actually to being able to get to an emotional place with other men. And it's that's a part of drinking that I don't think gets talked about.
But it's that crying that's ineffectual, isn't it? But I think it is a really good discussion. Natasha, I'm so grateful for that. We're going to talk more about this, because the idea is only women in relationships don't allow men to cry. I think it's a two-way street.
Let's get quickly to Elliot and Sharon, isn't it? Is it Sharon? Yeah, Elliot and Sharon. I really feel for both of them in very different ways, because they're going through a really difficult experience, I think, in all of this. I think Elliot has really stepped really carefully around a very fragile lady, and he's been very respectful. And perhaps, actually, I felt from that conversation that we had in there, I was quite surprised by the questions he was asking. So they really obviously haven't had a chance to really get to know that much about each other, because he was asking about her parents and stuff like that. So I think there's obviously a lot of barriers have gone up for him, and he's obviously got real patience and he's got real sensitivity. But I think she's really struggling. She's had some bad experiences.
I mean, yesterday I was swinging back to, I think maybe she doesn't like him, but actually today I went back to, no, she's just got so many walls up, but I just don't know whether they're completely impenetrable. And also I noticed Zach has gone very quiet.
Yeah.
And Zach was very bubbly and very chatty, and he seemed sad. and he seems, yeah, I feel like there's something really worrying him.
And obviously they tease, the next
They're going through a
show.
lot, these kids, but they're not children. You know, people have got to stop worrying about that. They are grown, they are young adults. They're not kids.
Yeah.
And Jess is going through, but Jess is crying so much, my mum, but she's crying often out of unbelievable pride.
Right.
I think she loves him more than she could, like her heart's going to burst.
Right.
So they're all going through an awful lot. The two girls with them, Monique and Tallulah, very, very scary for them because they feel like they're watching their mums walk back into the fire.
Absolutely. Joni reminds us that it's only been 2 weeks. It's very brief.
Yeah.
It's very,
But
very
don't
short.
forget, when you're 24/7 with those cameras and being made to do tasks, because there'll be lots of tasks we haven't seen, it's intense. It is like having a 6-month relationship, but just in 2 weeks.
And let's not forget, I'm just loving Roger and Janie's relationship. He's a transformed man. He's inadvertently like a guru. He's like Gandhi.
I'm loving watching their relationship
was
because
his
it's
line?
really cute and they're all like giggly. And like when he said, I can't wait to wake up to see her.
And she said, I loved what you said. He said, I didn't know what to say, so I just said the truth. That is a
Take
meme.
that into account, boys and girls.
That's a meme.
When you don't know what to say, try the goddamn emotional truth and it might really move you through life.
I want to see a meme, which is Roger in a sort of lotus pose with his hands like that, and all it says was, I didn't know what to say, so all I said was the truth. It's use it in life, man.
Use it
Really,
in life.
really.
And as Reese says there, it's a show that leaves you with a lot of food for thought.
So guys,
So
if you fancy joining us tomorrow night to watch me have a fight with Martin, who owns Ibiza, come and join us.
Not Martin. But we have a couple coming on tomorrow, a father and son, and that's going to be before the show. So at 8:40 tomorrow, we will see ya. We will be
live.
catching up on Married at First Sight. We are too invested in Your Mum, My Dad at the moment, but we're going to catch up on Married at First Sight as well.
And we
Lots of
are
people asking
also
about
watching The Woman in the Wall, if you're watching that
yeah.
drama too. So we're on it, we're up to it, we're getting through it. Guys, have a lovely, lovely evening. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, Lee Durham.
See you for Coffee Moaning, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Bye.